Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Marlene. Today's video, I want to be talking about forgiveness and the martyr complex. This is from the material of the Law of One, and I want to make like this connection because we're talking about healing, and this is something that I feel like is gonna be very beneficial to talk about as we move on to our healing path and our healing uh, journey, right? So let's get started. So in session 18, Ra explains that forgiveness is the eradicator of karma. So meaning that when we forgive others, in essence, we are also forgiving ourselves, okay? And obviously, here, forgiveness is an energy of intention, not just saying, like, oh, I forgive them, but not really feeling anything, right? It's like a genuine feeling of forgiving someone else for what they have done, or forgiving yourself for um, what you have done or what you haven't done, right? Like, depending on what you're trying to forgive. So, in terms of forgiveness in the Law of One, he said, Ra explains that forgiveness of the other is the forgiveness of the self, because at a conscious level, we are all one, right? So if we are trying to forget the other person, we are in essence also forgiving ourselves, because we have like this connection also with the other person, right? So forgiveness cancels karma. So karma, we know, is like this pattern that we incarnate and we personify, and that we like keep doing it, right? Like mistakes we keep doing, behaviors, things that just don't help us heal, right? There's good karma, but that's called dharma, I think. So karma in this essence means, or like Ra explains it, is like inertia. So he explains in session 34 that karma or inertia, it is stopped by forgiveness. So forgiveness will act as an interruption of this inertia, and this act is called forgiveness, right? For example, we could say that if you have not been like treating your body with respect, right, with love, that you're probably not taking care of it through like exercise, through good eating, and you're becoming sick because of it, then in this way forgiveness can help you, right? Because you are being conscious that you are not like loving yourself. So in this way you are moving on from that pattern, right? So now you're more conscious that you have to take care of your body, you have to take care of yourself, right? And this healing or self-forgiveness is again like a self-respect that you're doing for yourself. And the importance of this healing and forgiveness is because, according to the Law of One, if we are in the ascension of our planet to a fourth density, uh, to a positive fourth density, um, we are essentially working in acceptance, forgiveness, and if possible, he mentions restitution, but I don't want to go in there. So this is something that we are also collectively doing. The way we heal the planet, the way we move to our next on this path of fourth density, positive fourth density, is through forgiveness, right? So it's that of being kind and compassionate, unconditional love to others, right? But I want to make this connection here on when is it like a problem that we are just too much, right? Like we probably are forgiving too much to the point that we actually become a martyr, right? So the definition of a martyr uh, here in the Lao of One will be like somebody that has a heart chakra, like uh, I guess you could say like too open, that they just want to help other people, right? But in psychology, they just mention is like this behavior of people that prioritize other people's needs and their well-being before their own, right? To the point of self-sacrifice and neglect, right? So we don't want to fall into that category. We don't want to say that, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep forgiving this other persons regardless of their behavior because this is how we heal. But to the point that we are also are hurting ourselves. So in this like the best example, or well, in the session 44 to be more exact, they actually start talking about Carla health. So Carla is the other channeler. She's the main channeler, right, of Ra. So she's the one that is being used to transmit the uh, sixth density being or uh, messages from Ra. So in each of the sessions, because Carla is putting her life at risk without even knowing that she was doing this until they actually start asking Ra about her health on session 44, right? Like, so up to this point, she was doing all these sessions, and they will always ask how she was doing in terms of her vital energy, and they always said that she was good. But around session 44 is when she actually started having very critical physical like wear, and this is because she was having, you could say, like spiritual fatigue, right? Where because she's using her body as an instrument to channel this entity of sixth density, it was taking this big toll on her body. And because she was so open, she was also attracting entities from the negative polarity, right? So it's because her being a channeler of such a positive entity that it was Ra, it was also attracting a like it's a balanced energy, the negative polarity, which was a negative entity from the fifth density that was attacking her um, in her health, right? I think it was like her voice and some issues with like allergies or something like that. But pretty much the way Carla kept being able to channel for such a long time Ra is because she had this willingness, this like willpower of her to be of service to others, right? And although you could say that that's like an honorable act, right, to put yourself in that position that you were channeling Ra, she was doing this more as a fan of Ra, but she wasn't being wise about it, right? Because on session, I think it was session 45, they asked Ra if, like, what could Carla do in regards to her health and to like improve her health. And Ra tells them that at this point, being a martyrdom is not necessarily useful. So they ask Carla, the instrument, to evaluate and discriminate the mentioned concepts, and that the sessions that will you will make it will not. Oh, and whatever decisions she will make, to not be based on any expectations or results. So regardless if she wanted to keep having the sessions or to end the contact with Ra, that was up to her, but she shouldn't have any sort of expectation on whatever she would choose, right? Because she persisted so much on being this channel for Ra, she, in a way, you could say, pay the price, right, with her physical health, and as well as we know, the constant negative contact, with the negative entity of the fifth density. And we know this later on in other sessions, right? What the ending of that was. But for as far as like, uh, you could say Carla, they also advised her that she um, was also being provided with extra vitality because she was doing well exchange of sexual energy. So going back to that material, we know that a positive exchange of sexual energy is when it's both people are doing it from the heart center, and the male or the masculine energy is the one that gives the physical energy to the feminine, and the feminine gives the psychic energy to the masculine energy, right? So that will be a positive exchange of sexual energy. So that's why Carla was able to keep also going on with some of the sessions, because she was doing a lot of things that would bring her vital force to her physical body also, right? But again, it was at one point that her desire to keep helping wasn't beneficial to her, right? Because of this um, session is when they decided to do some other things, be more wise in learning that she doesn't have to suffer in order to continue like the sessions, right? And why is this important? Because again, if we are going from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, we are living that whole martyr complex behind, where we know the representative of that age was Jesus. So Jesus was the one that um, did this sacrifice to save others, right? So he was a martyr, right? And you gotta think about that. The age of Aquarius is like the air, uh, yeah, like the air. Oh my God, there's so many concepts. Sorry. Pretty much like we're in the information era, right? So in the material of the law of one, we know that light and love. So light is information, right? So information is also wisdom. So it's wisdom and love, right? So you don't want to be just in the love, but you also want to have the wisdom. So it's kind of like saying a wise love, right? You want to have this balance of the masculine and the feminine polarities, like in the like positive polarity of both. So this is what they are coming to when they're talking about the sessions um, with Carla, so that she can make a wise decision that is best to save like some of that energy for her to actually of better service to others. Like if you think about it, sometimes you have to put yourself first, even if that means you're not going to help some people, but later on you'll be able to help more people, right? So it's like you could say like in an airplane they tell you to like put your oxygen mask first and then go ahead and help the others. Like if you just try to help the others, you can go unconscious and then you won't be able to help the others, right? So this is like why this connection of being so loving and forgiving about others, but forgetting about yourself, right? Neglecting your own needs, your own, uh, you could say, yeah, like love. They ask Ra if what would be considered like a positive communication or a negative communication when they hear like things from their right ear or their left ear. And they say from the right ear, that's a positive sign. So that kind of means like you just have to pay more attention to like your thoughts or whatever you listen to, or if you hear a message, or like in the top of your head. Whereas a left side, like message, is from the negative polarity. They talk about why, in terms of like the brain or something. And they say because the negative polarity can use thought forms or uh, uh, words form or images that one needs to be able to discern, right? So this is again like if you're working with forgiving, you want to be able to discern when is the good time to forgive someone or even yourself, right? Like if you're having, let's say you're trying to forgive something you did in the past that, I don't know, like again, let's go back to example of like drinking alcohol, not taking care of your body. You might have these messages from the negative polarity trying to trick you into like, no, don't forgive yourself. You will never ever love yourself. You deserve to, something negative, um, because you don't deserve forgiveness, right? And that's not something that, again, like we want to do. We want to be able to discern, have compassion, kindness, and love and wisdom again for ourselves, right? And we can be able to forgive ourselves and move on and break that karma, break that cycle, and not to let the negative polarity interfere. Because again, it's it's a balance. The negative polarity will always balance all the positive energy. So it's like the more positive you're trying to move on from, you're also going to attract some from the negative polarity. Okay, so I hope I clarify, I guess, the subject, and it was helpful. So that's all for today, and I'll see you on another video. Okay, bye.